everyone. Chris Lashavo with Remax Heritage Professionals. We are coming up on the end of April, and that means it's market update time. So these are our stats for the end of March. This is for Polk County, Florida. So for Polk County, we had 1,497 closed sales in March 2023. That's compared to 1,716 in March 2022, a decrease of 12.8%. So we're definitely seeing a slowing of the housing market continue from the last several months. Not as significant, but definitely a slowing. Cash sales, the percentage of closed sales, 23.8% of all sales were cash sales compared to 34% a year ago. That's a decrease of 30%. Median sales price, $316,000 compared to $310,000 a year ago, an increase of 1.9%. So despite the slowing in the housing market, home prices did actually still go up a little bit. Average sales price, $328,522 compared to $322,040, an increase of 2%, so not really much difference in the change of price between median and average sales price. Median percent of original list price, sellers received 96.5% of list price compared to 100% a year ago, a decrease of 3.5%. Median time to contract, 39 days compared to 7 days a year ago, an increase of 457.1%. I will note, however, that is less than last month. So homes are actually on the market a little bit less this month than in February. Median time to sale, 87 days compared to 45 days, an increase of 93.3%. New pending sales, 1,566 compared to 1,748, a decrease of 10.4%. New listings, 1,571 new listings compared to 1,863 a year ago, a decrease of 15.7%. So we're still not seeing an increase in inventory overall. Pending inventory, 2,128 compared to 2,409, a decrease of 11.7%. Active inventory, 3,159 compared to 1,274, an increase of 148%. But as we already identified, most of that is due to homes staying on the market longer than a year ago, rather than an increase in new inventory. And then finally, month supply of inventory, 2.4 month supply of inventory compared to 0.9 month supply of inventory a year ago, and that is an increase of 166.7%. Tune in as we talk a little bit more about what we can expect from the housing market moving forward. So the stats that we just shared are pretty interesting. Definitely saw a bit of a decrease in price in Winter Haven, but an increase countywide overall. Definitely a slowing down of the market in terms of number of closed sales. But our active inventory, while it's higher, it's mostly due to homes staying on the market longer, not because there's more homes coming to the market. Our new listings is still down over a year ago. And so what that means is the supply shortage that we've been talking about is still with us, and in fact it could be worsening. And long term, in terms of what we can expect, the impact that's going to have on the housing market is especially if mortgage rates go down. Now they went up a little bit in the last week, but they had been trending downward. Most experts expect mortgage rates to hit maybe 5.5% by the end of the year. So down below the 6 1/3 that I've seen lately. So if those mortgage rates continue to drop, I would expect to see more buyers entering the housing market or re-entering the housing market. And with supply being at or below levels that they were last year, that means there's going to be more competition for a limited number of homes, and that's going to drive prices back up again. So It's going to be interesting to see what the Federal Reserve does in terms of inflation. The inflation numbers last month were actually pretty good in terms of food costs and fuel costs, although fuel costs have gone up in the last few weeks due to the flooding down in South Florida for those of us in Florida. I think the reality is that we are still facing a housing shortage, and as long as that's the case, we will see some months where home prices are going to drop, but not significantly. I think the longer term trend, though, is going to be home prices increasing. So if you're a buyer sitting on the fence, I think the time to get in is now. You can refinance your mortgage in a year or so when the rates drop to 5.5%. But if you wait till then you're going to be paying more for that home, and so you're going to be financing more. So any savings you're going to realize from the lower mortgage rate is going to be chewed up by the higher price you're going to pay for the home. If you're a seller, now is really a good time to put your home on the market. As I said, inventory is low. That's when you want to list your home, when inventory is low, because there's less competition out there for your home in terms of less homes for buyers to choose from. And there's going to be more buyers coming to the market here as we hit middle spring and into the summer selling season here in Florida. So it really could be a good time to list your home now to maximize how much you might get out of that home. Home prices overall are still very good. We're still very much in a seller's market. Like I said, we still haven't hit 3 months of inventory. We actually need to hit 6 months of inventory to be in a balanced market. So we still have a ways to go before we're in a balanced market. So if you're a seller out there and you're worried, yes, the market is slower than it was a year ago, but it's still better than your average market for a seller, and so it's a good time to get in and take advantage of the low inventory. If you're a buyer, I think where you probably want to look is at new home construction. I just read some stats today that said new home sales went up almost 10%. And I think that's because builders are offering a lot of incentives. They want to avoid what happened in 2008. So they're trying to get any inventory they have out of their hands, but they're still building, and they still have inventory, especially the big tract builders like D.R. Horton, Lennar, Richmond American, so on and so forth. They have homes out there. There's inventory. Smaller builders like Highland Homes, Southern Homes also have inventory. So there's an opportunity. There's still new communities popping up all over the place, especially here in Polk County. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the entire country. Lakeland is actually the second fastest growing city in the entire country. The secret's out on Polk County. So the other aspect of this is from an investment perspective. As more and more people move to the area is going to build up more. Home prices are also going to increase. So if you can get in now while home prices are still significantly lower than surrounding counties, you're going to see your property values increase pretty significantly over time. If you're worried about short term in terms of the economy and what's going to happen with the housing market, the reality is this. Real estate is best when you can be patient and hold for a while to maximize, because over the long term, you're going to gain equity. It's when you're trying to flip or do short-term investing in housing that you can lose money. But even those people who bought in 2000s, before 2007, experienced a crash, lost all kinds of value in their homes, they've more than made up that value sitting here now. So, if you plan to stay in a home for a while, obviously plans can change, but if your plan is to stay in an area for a while and you think you can stay in the home that you purchased for a while, there's an opportunity there long term to be able to make some good equity. I read somewhere that homeowners have 40 times the wealth of those who rent. And so it really is still a big part of the American dream, home ownership. It is really still one of the best pathways to accumulating wealth for your family is home ownership. So it's a good time to look now. If you want to talk about whether or not it's right for you, because it's not right for everybody. If you want to talk about whether it's right for you, I'm happy to sit down and talk with you. There's no charge for those services, and just consult. I love to just talk with people about their life situation, where they're at, what their goals are, and then to help them determine whether it's the right time to buy or whether it makes sense for them to rent. So feel free to reach out if I can help you in any way. I'd love to. If you know friends or family that are considering either buying or selling in Central Florida, I'd love to talk with them as well. Again, no cost for those consultative services. And hopefully you hire me to be your agent, whether you're buying or selling. Remember, I want to make your home buying and selling experience an epic one. Have a great day, everybody.